We were very disconnected, maybe almost exhausted with each other a little bit, I think. We had recently become empty nesters, so we're kind of staring at each other in a quiet house. And, it was sort of the, becoming empty nesters was a bigger deal than I had thought. I thought it would just be, I think it'd be no big deal. And now we're kind of focusing more on each other, I guess. So, anyway, it was very dry. We were not, we were roommates effectively, I would say. And, oh, just, everything seemed harder than it should be.
Welcome to the Delight Your Marriage podcast. You're joining me, Bella Rose, as I dive deep into the beauty, power, and truths about intimacy. Learn not only the practicals, but the heart behind what making love is all about. Delight your marriage. Hi there, I'm Bella Rose, and I'm so grateful to have you. I'm a marriage trainer, coach, author. I'm just so thrilled to have you here with me. And today's conversation is such an encouragement. If you've been in this journey called marriage for more than a couple years, decades, and maybe you've been suffering for decades, Adam gets it. He absolutely gets it. There's been disconnection and really just a sense of almost exhaustion with each other. So I don't know if that's where you are. Maybe you've successfully raised your children. Now you're empty nesters and you're looking across the table at somebody that you don't really like. And you're like, what does this look like to continue these next years, these next decades with somebody who we can't seem to enjoy each other? Maybe there was a season where you did, but at this point, it just feels hopeless. Well, if you're a husband listening, I just want you to really take some notes from Adam's perspective because he decided to lead. He decided to be the one to look at a problem, as men are so good at fixing the problem. But the truth is, where do you start? And that's what Adam saw from recommendations, even from different marriage forums online. He found that Delight Your Marriage is a trustworthy source that actually people transform here. And so I hope that you listen to Adam's story, listen to the pain in his voice, listen to the hope that he's going to give you through his journey here. I can't wait. Really, I can't wait for you to be inspired. And our wonderful clarity advisor, Dana, is here again to share with you his journey because she got to talk to him day one on that clarity call, which is a free call that you, listener, can also take advantage of. And it's just so exciting. I will say that we're shifting some things on the back end of our training programs, which is really exciting, but it's really based on we need to cap things based on what we know works. So some of the groups where you get to talk to me directly, they're going to be capped in terms of smaller groups. And then we're going to have a larger group and the payment structure is changing. Now that's on the horizon. So I encourage you, if this is something you've wanted to do for a while, but finances are something that could hold you back. I just invite you to get on a clarity call now, because as I said, when we make these caps and when we change the pricing structure, it will be different. And so we want to help as many people as possible. So if you've kind of been on the fence for a while, I invite you to just take the leap. A clarity call is free, and then you can make the decision. You don't have to make a decision on the calls. We do run out of room, so you get to decide from there, but maybe this is your time. Maybe just like Adam, you've been waiting and suffering for decades. And it's time. It's time to lead your family in real transformation. And I'll tell you, spoiler alert, only after he did this did his wife decide she wanted to work here too. Like she wanted to work in a program. And now I know his wonderful wife, and she is truly wonderful, and they are having a phenomenal time. So very excited to share this story with you. Get ready to be excited. And just to throw out the link, delightyourmarriage.com/cc, if you want your journey to be like Adam's, disconnected for many years, but now God has totally transformed their marriage and their lives by God's grace. Let's dive in.
Okay, Adam, I am incredibly thrilled to be here with you today. You just mentioned to me that you graduated from Masculinity Reclaimed just a week ago. That is so exciting, Adam. I'm looking forward to hearing your story here, and I'd love for you, if you don't mind, to start off by telling me a little bit about yourself and how you found Delight Your Marriage to begin with.
Okay, sure. I just turned 50 years old. My wife and I have been married for almost 30 years. In another month will be 30 years. We have two grown children and one is married. Um, we had our marriage was tough. It wasn't. I always felt it should be better than it is, and I felt a bit like a failure. And
Yeah.
why couldn't we make it better? So I was on a long search for a long time. We had done counseling together, and we even done different weekend retreats, and those were all okay, but they weren't. They did, it was just another step,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think I forget exactly, but I think I discovered the podcast through a forum on the internet where it was recommended. So I started listening to the Delight Your Marriage podcast, and it resonated with me. I liked what was being talked about and how it was talked about, and it felt very genuine and very real. So after a little while listening, I decided to take the next step and do call, and so that's how I discovered it.
Wow. Wow, that's fantastic. Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that the Lord led you to the podcast first and foremost, Adam, and that what you heard really resonated with you. And I know firsthand what courage it takes to pull the trigger and to get on a clarity call, to share what's on your story with what share with me what your story is. So I'm curious, how was that clarity call process for you, Adam?
Well, yeah, it was a good process. Um, it did take a little nerve, but you were pretty gentle with me, so that was nice.
Oh, good, good. Yeah.
It felt good. It felt that you were very understanding and that you seemed to get the situation and understand. You offered a glimmer of hope, and I appreciated that. We talked about water. I don't know if you remember, but we talked about it
Mm,
needing a
mhm.
glass of water and in the desert, and you said, "Oh, I have buckets of water," or something. You said you had more water than you can ever imagine,
Yes.
and
Oh, it's so true.
so it was actually a very encouraging call. I appreciated it very much. I It was a good experience.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you for that, Adam. It really it is a really beautiful experience when you get over the threshold, right? You have the nerves coming in, but it really is just a beautiful opportunity, right? To look at things from a different perspective. And I'm so grateful that it gave you that glimmer of hope to hang on to and move into the program. And I say it takes courage, but it also takes humility, Adam, to come into that call and to really share what's on your heart. And you did a beautiful job with that. And it was very clear to me that you were an excellent fit for Masculinity Reclaimed. So how did how did Masculinity Reclaimed go for you, Adam? What was the process like? Let's start there.
Well, initially I was sent some emails about the actual course material and the communication site, the Slack site. So it took me a day or two to kind of figure out what was there and how it works.
Yep.
Um, and I decided early on after listening to the podcast that either I do this or I don't do this. And if I do this, then I'm going to dig in all the way and put my face in the dirt and just, even if I don't like what it says, I'm going to do it, or if it's not natural for me. So that's the attitude I had. I just really humbled. totally myself to
Wow.
the system. I just wanted to embrace it, and so it consistent with the podcast, but it's also much deeper than the
Mm,
podcast. And so it was really I appreciate how she tied the Bible into practical applications, and it was clear that she really understood marriage and men and women and how we relate and stuff like that. So it was good. It's
it's good.
uh all everything everything fit. It took a couple of weeks, I would say, to kind of get into the rhythm of how this really works and to kind of figure it out. But after that, it was good, and um, I watch every video probably 4 or 5 times. I have an
Wow.
old notebook of notes here that I made to write it through, and it really became. I try to do everything I can to concentrate on it.
Adam, clearly. Oh, so good. I love how you just put your nose to the grindstone and said, I'm here. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to follow that recipe, right? So good, Adam. So good. Thank you for sharing that. I'm curious if you don't mind just telling us a little bit about what challenges you were facing before you joined MR.
Well, we were very disconnected,
Mm,
in uh, maybe almost exhausted
yeah,
with each other a little bit. I think we had recently become empty nesters, so we're kind of staring at each other in a quiet house, and it was sort of the becoming empty nesters was a bigger deal than I had thought. I thought it would just be, I think it'd be no big deal, but really, it's almost like any stage in life. It's a big deal as getting married and having kids. Then going to school. It was another definite life stage, and you have to kind of refigure us out, yeah, the two of us out, and what's our next goal after focusing on the children for many many years,
yeah.
and now we're kind of focusing more on each other, I guess. So anyway, it was very dry. We were not. We were roommates effectively, I would say, and
Mm,
oh, just everything seemed harder than it should be.
yeah, yeah, I understand. I understand completely where you're coming from. And yes, that empty nesting season is can be a challenge, Adam, especially when you're in that place of, as you said, exhausted with each other. Um, wow, wow. How did MR help you overcome those challenges, Adam?
Well, I think it was a rebooting of thinking,
Mhm.
to be thankful, to be grateful. That's probably the first thing. Not arguing was definitely another stage, just to put the peace back in. And after a few weeks of that, it was already making a difference in our
Really,
marriage.
just after a few weeks.
Yeah, it was. You know, I have to give my wife all the credit. I can't. She took to this stuff very well. She really, really liked what I
Mm,
was becoming, and where was this man before? How did he get here? No.
yes, that's exciting. Just a side note, Adam, was your wife aware that you were participating in the program?
Well, indirectly, maybe. I told her I had joined a coaching group, but
Okay.
I had done, in a professional, my work life, I've had coaches in the past, so that didn't raise any eyebrows. Uh, so I didn't tell her the nitty gritty details, but after a few weeks, she's saying, "Where is this thinking coming from?" And I would say a line, and the daughter of the king, like that, got her eyebrows way up.
I bet it did. That's awesome. That's
Where did you get
great.
that line?
Oh, praise God. Yeah, right, right, right. Where'd you come up with that one? That's awesome. Oh, Adam, I love it. So what are some of the specific results or improvements that you've experienced in your marriage as a result of masculinity reclaimed?
Well, I think we're listening to each other much better now. I'm not just commanding or telling. I think I was very guilty of treating her like an employee
Mm,
and kind of not well, almost. I don't want to say beck and call, but that's kind of how it.
yeah.
I think she felt. That's how it felt.
Wow.
Anyway, so I think I became much more tender and much more sensitive, and just slowed myself down and just started to listen and uh, and and to my blessing, what she really appreciated these changes very quickly. She really liked this. So anyway, she just started asking, where is it coming from? So I showed her the podcast, and I told her right away that I had joined this program, and this is how it works. And so then she was, she became a fan more and more in time. I wanted
Oh,
to, I didn't want to hide it from her per se, because I don't want to hide it. And
yes,
it's all good stuff anyway. Why do I want to hide it? And
that's right.
uh, so anyway, she just, it's a reminder about how they say, in the time of Jesus, that the Romans were very anti-Christianity in the beginning, but it was their road that allowed Christianity to spread very quickly. And this course made me think of that, because the internet, of course, is a cesspool of everything bad. But in amongst using these roads, a program like this can really take advantage of it, and help spread the good word too, and different ways of thinking. So I don't know. That thought has been in my head about uh, Deutscher marriage as well.
So I love that analogy, Adam. Yeah, I really love that. And you're right. You've got to be careful. You've got to be careful out there what you get yourself involved with. But praise God for the path that Delight Your Marriage follows. Bella is truly connected to the Lord and in awe of his work, and really does a beautiful job of sharing her heart and her gifting in her ability to communicate with husbands about their wives. So I am, again, I circle back to how grateful I am that you found Delight Your Marriage and had the courage to jump in, and not just jump in, but to commit yourself to the work and really follow the plan. Because clearly the Lord has done so much for you, Adam. Yeah. So back to the results. What other changes did you experience that you'd like to share with others?
Well, I'm holding a little back, I guess, from the changes. Yeah, the changes have been profound. We relate to each other much better. We're listening and talking. We're much more connected. Um, our yeah, like we're closer than every way. Like, it's quite an amazing change. Um, I I think the attitude reset in me is really helped enable all this. I guess I'm hesitant to say that I know you're recording, but the intimacy aspect had just it done really amazing things. But I'm hesitant to say that,
Wow.
especially if she listens. I don't wanna overtalk that aspect. I know, like, you guys are amazingly open, but I don't know if I can be that open. I don't want to hurt Tanya in any
That's
way.
okay. Yeah.
So I don't know
Yeah.
how to say that without sounding, and I'm not taking it for granted. I'm kind of scared I'm going to screw it up and then it's going to go boom. So I'm just very
Absolutely.
conscious of what I
Absolutely.
say. But like, it's been a complete reboot of our marriage. It's been, I,
Yeah. That's perfect, Adam. No, is perfect. And I love what you said at first. You said the changes are profound. And that speaks volumes, Adam.
Okay.
And I do respect your desire to keep that private, Adam, and that is good and it is okay. And then I also understand that you're just a week out of the program, so you're still, the changes are still coming. There's still so many more glimmers ahead. So I absolutely understand where you're coming from, and it is good. It is good. I love what you've shared. I love what you've shared, Adam. This is clearly an entirely new trajectory for you and your wife and your marriage. And so tell me, how is empty nesting now? How does it feel to be empty nesters?
Well, we feel quite free. That's probably the biggest thing. I feel quite freed. Um, we're talking about new things and new projects and setting up a vacation rental, and
Oh my goodness.
our 30th anniversary is in a month, so we're planning on doing a major trip for that. Before, that was one of the things that actually struck me, because about 6 months ago, when I asked about doing something for our 30th anniversary, she said she didn't want to do anything, and that hit me
Mm,
right in the head.
wow. Oh wow.
So that's
And now
so that's good. But now we're planning. Now there's
and now
a
you're
new life. Like
planning.
there's so we're actively, you know we're and we're still parents, right? Even though they're not in your house, you still end up parenting and talking about them all the time. So I think we're much more uniformed and much more
Mm,
uh together on things, and somehow it's easier to talk to.
wow. So even in the parenting realm,
Yeah, if you
would you say
don't.
more of a team?
Yeah, exactly.
Ah,
At least now we're talking through everything, and then we can come across as not contradicting each other or confusing each other when we're talking to our kids.
amazing. Amazing. I love it. So more of a team when it comes to parenting, more free overall, and planning a 30-year anniversary trip for the two of you to go celebrate. That's huge, Adam. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well done, sir. Really and truly. Really and truly. So you had mentioned that in before to light your marriage, you kind of maybe treated your wife more like an employee. How would you say that's changed now?
Um, well, I've removed the expectations. I've removed I guess the expectations is probably the biggest thing. Um,
Yeah.
this instinct to fix things is kind of that's what I do in my work life, is I constantly fix things.
Mm,
And so
hmm
your instinct is, oh, you tell me a problem, I'm going to fix it. But so
hmm
that's obviously not, the odd time that is the command, but that is mostly you need to listen, especially when you can't really fix it.
Wow.
So I would say that lesson has been bored home. I had
Mm,
that before, but I didn't really do it. So I think
mm.
just letting her talk and giving her the freedom and uh, the comfort that she can talk without me coming down on her is a big thing.
Oh, that is a big thing. I would imagine that creates a space of freedom for her
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and my wife had said some of the same things that Bella had said in her podcast, and that was one of the things that struck me. Like my wife talked about safety. I can't share with you. I don't feel safe. That used to be very angry. Like, what do you mean you're not safe? Like, I've kept you safe for 30 some years. but I didn't
Yes.
really understood what it meant, from an emotional and a judgment standpoint. So that's
Yeah.
definitely a lesson I learned in the course, and still learning.
Wow. I would say that was incredibly impactful.
It is, yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a real shift in just in thought processes, but also in probably in the words you used or the approach you used in conversation. Wow. Wow.
You have to, I think, the to be humble,
Mm,
to humble yourself. I think that was a good lesson for me
yes.
too. Um, you know,
Yeah. And Adam, that ties me right back to your clarity call. And I witnessed that humility in you right from the get-go. Maybe you did, maybe you did or didn't recognize it, but I did. And I knew, Adam, that, at that time that because of that you were a really fantastic fit for the program itself, but also for the men's community. Do you mind telling me a little bit about your involvement in the men's community? What was that like for you?
well, it was very good. That was an aspect I didn't really expect uh, to be so good. So it's a bit funny because it's a rolling course. You come in and there's people literally graduating on the day you're starting, uh,
Yes.
and so they're from all over the world or all over North America for sure, and you all generally have the same dilemmas. And
Mm,
so it was very encouraging to be with people who are doing well, and your heart goes out to the people who are struggling. You get to know these men. There's kind of an anonymity in it because they're far away. Um, so it was much closer than I've ever experienced in a men's group in a church. That's for
wow.
sure. That's like we talked quite in depth about intimate stuff, and so it was a very good experience. I already missed some of them. I mean, we have contacts outside of the program too now, but especially the guys who are sort of in my week range, we got to
Mm,
know each other pretty well.
wow. Wow. It's really fantastic. I love, Adam, that you found that to be a safe space where you could really be honest and open about all that was going on, the challenges plus the glimmers of hope and the change, and to have, men step alongside of you to help celebrate and to help, continue to give you that accountability and, positive outlook. Did that help you stay consistent with what you had promised yourself to do coming in?
Yes, it did. Um,
Good.
yeah, I think it was like I've never connected with men like that ever, like
Mm,
not in any church group. I guess because I live in a small town, you kind of know everybody. Everybody half knows your business, so there's
hmm.
limits on what you want to say, right? So this didn't have any of those limits. It was quite a it was quite an interesting experience. It was very good.
Very good. Oh, that's incredible. Adam, it's absolutely praise God for your journey again, for your courage and your humility and your attitude of really towing the line and sticking to it. Clearly, Adam, it has made a huge, huge difference in your marriage. It's so incredible. I'm curious about one more thing, Adam. Was there an impact for you in your own spiritual health?
Yes. Yeah, the relevance of the scripture really struck me. I think I was getting a bit blasé about the Bible, and you know, I was always impressed how Bella could make it relevant and the
Yeah.
points she brought out. Her thinking is quite a bit more modern than what we've kind of grown up with in our area, and I really appreciated her perspective. Like, it was good. Yes, I am closer to God, I would say. I'm reading the Bible regularly. I am praying. Yes, it definitely made a difference. Um, I think the relevance was really appreciated. It seemed so relevant suddenly.
Wow. That's fantastic. So good. So good, Adam. And did that seep into the spiritual intimacy in your marriage?
Well, that's really the rocket fuel.
Oh, the rocket fuel. I love it. Tell me more.
Well, praying together deeply and I think really touches her.
Hmm.
I, you know,
Wow.
I'd rather. I mean, I've told her this too, and we've talked about it, but I don't know. This all seems pretty deep to be on a public thing. But that is, I think, it's definitely for my wife when she's seen that I was digging in to scripture and praying much more deeply, not just ritualistically. That made a total difference for her.
Oh, oh, that's
Uh,
beautiful.
she the respect for me and everything just seemed to change. She craved that deepness. I discovered. I swim on the surface far too much, too scared to dive deeper, I guess. But diving deeper definitely is a good thing.
Wow. Oh, Adam, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me today. It really is incredible, and all glory to God for bringing about these changes that were necessary in you and your heart and in your marriage, and putting you both on this new trajectory and empty nesting and parenting. And oh my goodness, headed into a 30-year anniversary, taking a trip is just, it's really incredible, Adam. Really, really incredible. I truly appreciate your time and your courage and your honesty. Before we go, is there anything else you'd like to add?
It just seems like such an amazing setup that Delight Your Marriage has, and it's just I appreciate what the work you guys have done and the heart that you put into it. I hope you guys keep growing it, and I would encourage you to do whatever you can to expand it. We'll certainly recommend it to our friends and family.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But yeah, just I guess I don't know. I'm on your team, shall we say?
Oh,
A
that's so
fan.
great. We are honored to have you on our team, Adam. Absolutely. One more question for you. Is there any advice that you would give to a gentleman who's listened to your story, who may be on the cusp of trying a clarity call or thinking about it? Any advice for that gentleman?
Yeah, my advice would be to do it to get over the hang up, to know that Delight Your Marriage is a very good place to land, and you should, you know, but they're, how should I say this? They have they have a process that works. They have a system that works, and that you should learn to trust them. And um, the alternatives are all so brutally ugly. And this is such a
Mm.
nice, nice way to go compared to anything else. So if you're on the fence, you should do it. It's well worth the time and investment. I I I'd pay a lot more for the course. If, considering what I got, I think it's a good. I appreciate them, and I don't know. I
Oh,
want you guys to do well too.
yeah. Yeah. Very sweet. Very sweet. Adam, well, the journey is not over for you at all by any means. This is lifelong growth. I'm incredibly excited that you've transitioned into Masculinity Reclaimed graduate program, and Sir, the sky's the limit. It really is. I love your heart, and I love um, what the Lord has done here for you, and your courage to do it. So well done. Well done. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you for letting me say it.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for trusting us with your journey, with your story, with what's going on. Thank you for trusting us with your family and now your wife. I love that woman. She is awesome. um, and yeah, and also Dana, thank you for what you do. You're just powerful. And it's a beautiful journey. So, dear listener, I know you're here for a reason because like Adam, you're looking for hope. You're looking for something that works. And hopefully you can take a look at our transformation stories. It works over and over and over again because we're just really good plagiarizers. It's true. The Bible's got the principles. We just show you how to strategically live it out 21st century. And we believe what it says in Proverbs, that wisdom is valuable. Um, but we don't think that people really change often. They don't really change without others. We really need the community to come around side of us and encourage us and give us guidance and wisdom and mentorship and people who have done it. And that's what our team is full of. People who have had their own marriages transformed because of this work, this process, this potential for you to walk in the same journey and witness it for your own marriage. So let me pray for you and we'll wrap up. Lord, we thank you that you are king. We are not king of our own lives. And this one that you know completely, you've seen the suffering, you've seen the heartache, you've seen the loneliness, and maybe really dramatic, awful things. You've seen it, you know it, you care. They have not been suffering by themselves. Father, I pray right now for a grace for hope, a grace for hope in the midst of their situation, regardless of how long they've suffered. You are a God of miracles, even after 30 years. It's really powerful what you can do. And I pray for the faith that this one needs, that it can change. Because over and over again on this earth, you said your faith has made you well. Your faith, your faith, your faith. So Father, I pray for faith for this one, that you truly can do the miracle just like you did in Adam's life. And if their next step is a clarity call, I pray that you wouldn't let anything hold them back. We love you, Jesus. We thank you for what you're doing here. And just encourage this one today, I pray. Amen. All right. I love you. Thank you for listening. And if you know someone, maybe like Adam, they might just need a lifeline. They might just need somebody to say, hey, there's a reason for hope. People are still transforming even after all these years. All right. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon. Visit us, delightyourmarriage.com. We're really soon to roll out a brand new website. So you can see the before and after if you visit us now. And I'll tell you, it is in rough shape right now, but shortly it'll be looking great. Anyway, the website, delightyourmarriage.com/cc. Gosh, we can't wait to serve you. God bless.